Well, there's always a story behind every movie ever made. And sometimes the story behind the movie is more interesting than the story in the movie itself. And Island of Death is no different. Because at the time I made Island of Death, I was almost a novice director. I had a vast experience in TV shows. I've done drama and game shows and music and everything else on TV with the very rudimentary means of the 70s, because I was working for Greek TV, and Greek TV was still black and white, and if we wanted to go anywhere close to lavish, that meant we shot black and white 16mm film. But I had already shot a movie. It was called Death Has Blue Eyes, and in some way that movie was the forefather of all the other movies I ever made.
Are you ready, Christine? Oh, boy. She really is a bum.
I was always attracted by the paranormal, the psychological, the thriller, the suspense element. And Island of Death was none of the above. Island of Death was a recipe movie. A recipe movie in the essence that I made it because I needed to make money. It was a very clear motivation, which today, despite the multiple interpretations in thousands of websites around the world, it's still the truth. I didn't want to make a cult movie. I didn't want to make the most violent and perverse movie ever made. I wanted to make a movie that would make money. And the way it happened was, I still recall, very strange. With a friend of mine who was a film producer, we went to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre in an open-air theater in Athens. And we were appalled by the violence. And after the movie, we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and my friend says, you know, they made that movie for $100,000 and it made millions. And I said, why don't we make a movie for $30,000 and still be able to make millions? He said, how are we going to do that? And I said, we're going to make a movie that's more violent than Texas Chainsaw Massacre, more perverse from every point of view. And we're going to stuff in that movie every perversion and every violent act imaginable. Well, that to my mind was the key to foreign distribution, the key to foreign sales. So I sat down, and in a week, I wrote the script of Island of Death. And I wrote it formulaically. I wrote it with a formula in mind. I wrote it deciding I'm going to be disgusting, I'm going to be perverse, and I'm going to be violent in my content. And years later, when the movie was shown to distributors around the world, people would come and ask me, is that really you? I mean, this is the way you feel about life? This is the way you see the world? And I said, no, that's the opposite from what I am. This is the way I wanted to make a movie that would make money. Was I right about that? Well, movies are not always a form of artistic expression for their directors and writers and the creative people behind them. Sometimes they're a motivation to stay alive, to stay afloat. And this is what Island of Death was for me at the time. And I was absolutely 100% right. It worked. It made money, and it made me a name almost bankable for financiers that would be prepared to put money in a similar movie. Same genre, even more pushing the edge, pushing the envelope. Did I make that movie? I did not. And there is a story behind it also. My DP, a dear friend that has worked with me for many, many years, was held up in his previous movie and couldn't come to start my movie. Therefore, I had to become my own DP and camera operator. And I did operate the camera. And because I was running out of money and I couldn't pay one of the actors that I needed at the time, he wanted something equivalent to today's $80. I decided to play the part myself. Now, remember that it was painful, not for me, but for the audience, because I'm a lousy actor. I don't know how I rate as a director, but as an actor, take my word, I'm a lousy actor. And I played the role of self-made detective investigator / mystery writer who suspects that there's something wrong with the couple in the movie, and he starts asking questions. Questions lead to conclusions, and at some point he has what he needs, which is